the Bride Chiller 30 Days of Wedding Planning. I'm Alicia, mildly insane host of the Bride Chiller podcast and founder of the Bride Chiller movement. And I'm creating these videos as a bit of a sort of short course of all of the things that I've learned along the way of producing over 300 episodes of Bride Chiller. You can download Bride Chiller absolutely for free and listen to those episodes. I'm over 320 episodes now. It's mental. But there's a lot of things covered. So I just thought this would be a great way to get through a bunch of different topics and make sure you get a bit of an overview of what it's like to be a bride chiller, and also just that there's help and support out there. Because sometimes I know wedding planning can make people feel like they're going crazy. On today's episode, I want to talk with you about wedding entertainment. This is bands, DJs, bloody magicians and ponies and all this other stuff. And the pressure that seems to be around at the moment of having to create some sort of sideshow event or some sort of West End musical, which is not really what a wedding is about. Where do I start? I actually had to stop them because I was like, there's so much to say. How am I going to cram this into 4 minutes? Let's try. The concept of entertaining your guests, it's a bit old school, but also it's very modern in the sense that at our parents' wedding, there was probably a band, or they'd put a record on and they'd have a little bit of a dance at the end of the night, and then everyone would go home. Whereas now it's extended to, we need to have a string quartet. You don't have to do, by the way, this is not what you have to do. This is just attitude. People want to have a string quartet to people to come down the aisle, and then you've got a DJ to play while everyone's eating their meals, and then you've got a band to come and set up, and then there's a magician to come and fucking pull something out of a hat. It becomes an extravaganza. Now, I'm not saying everyone is wanting to do 50 million various entertainment acts like they're booking, a festival. But sometimes I see these comments and discussions on forums and in the Bride Chiller community where people are getting quite panicked that they haven't booked all these extra additions. And I just want to say they're completely unnecessary. Music, yes, I think music is the spirit of the day, and the music that you choose represents who you are as a couple and also guides people as to what sort of party you're having. I did an interview on the podcast with a lovely gentleman who produces wedding entertainment. He has bands that he represents and lots of different musicians. And in the discussion, we really came up with this sort of theory, and I love it, and I'm going to go with it again today, is that the way to think about music and entertainment with an event like a wedding is thinking of it like the soundtrack to a movie. You know, when you watch a movie and there's no music, you go, something's wrong here. Something's off. And then you realize, there's no music. And sometimes there's too much music. You're like, I just can't hear the people speak, and it's too loud. And then other times you watch and it helps you know how to feel. It guides your emotion. And to me, that's when it really works. Having music at an event that helps you know what's happening. So, for example, when you're eating dinner, you don't want to have loud, crazy music. People want to chat and eat, but you want a bit of in the background. And then also when dancing comes, you want to have music that's going to encourage people to get off their asses and join a dance floor and just let loose. Then when you're entering, maybe walking down the aisle or entering together, however you choose to do it, you want to have music that represents the tone of your ceremony. You don't have to go for the traditional Pachelbel's canon or the wedding march. I think that's all a bit old school. I've had some great emails from people saying that because they were listening to episodes of the podcast about DJing and music, that they've made choices they weren't expecting to make. And they're incorporating soundtrack themes and TV themes and all these sort of great options into their wedding ceremony because they love watching that show, or, it's going to spark a bit of fun. And one example I always use, and I want to hear someone actually using it. Imagine walking to a wedding and the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme starts, as they're walking down the aisle. I mean, that just makes, if people get it, like, oh my God. How hilarious. And straight away, that would set the tone of funny, warm, bit silly, and it makes people relax. But I just wanted to come back to this idea that people feel obliged to entertain their guests. We're all adults going to weddings. I'm talking about adults, not children, obviously. Adults know that a wedding is, we watch someone get married, we go to a ceremony, however that happens, and then we move on and eat some drinks and we have some chats, and then if we're lucky we might get a band or a DJ and we might be able to shake our booties. We're all adults, we know what to do. And I sometimes think this idea that we have to book 50 various entertainment guests to come along and sing or to, do extra stuff, or I keep going back to magicians. I don't know why I'm obsessed with magicians, but to go, I don't know if I want, I don't know, someone pulling cards out of a hat in front of me while I'm just trying to have a conversation, or I just want to get up and dance, or just get another cocktail. I just think it's not necessary. Unless you're going for a themed wedding where this stuff fits in, it's fantastic. People get really bogged down by these details when actually, I don't know if we should really care that much. There it is, wedding entertainment. I actually think that it's just more important, and the DJ versus band thing is a big conversation, and I do go into that in depth during the podcast. If you want to search for podcast episodes, you can just go to iTunes, Spotify, or Android and subscribe to the podcast, and you can see all the titles of the episodes. And also, you could go to my website and just search and find the episode numbers. If you want to just really dig in deep and go for specific topics, that's a great way to find what I've covered. But there's definitely a couple of really good episodes that focus on wedding music and also working with a DJ versus a band, or both. I have feelings about both. I think you need to find a DJ that can fill the room. And then also bands can be really expensive, they can be awesome, but you want to make sure they have a set list that suits your event. You need to do your research and also make sure that you have someone that is in control, that can change if you're not getting people up on the dance floor, that just know how to make that happen. And that's a skill. And I think you should go and try and see the DJ or band play beforehand as well, get a bit of a vibe. So much to say, so much to probably catch up on in the podcast. There it is. I am really enjoying doing these videos. They're a little rambly and weird, but I'm enjoying it. So what does it matter? I hope you're enjoying. Are you having a band or a DJ? Are you worried about booking extra entertainment? Then leave comments below, and I would like to read what your problems you're having. Maybe you've had a win. It doesn't have to be negative. I like reading about winning things. So please comment below. What a lunatic. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying wherever you are the day, and you will join me again tomorrow for another wedding planning tip.